First of all, congrats to West Virginia. They played a tremendous game. They were able, which is what they want to do, is just they're really good in chaos, and they create chaos with their defense. We turned it over. We didn't display the poise that's necessary to have a chance to win against a team like that with the way they defend. I thought it would take us a little bit to get settled into the game, which it did early. Then I thought we started making some plays, stronger with the basketball. And when we did that, we got a little bit of a lead. I thought they made it even more chaotic, and we didn't handle that well. We had some foul trouble. We had lineups that we've never practiced with. And again, they caused that with the relentless pressure that they put on you. And so, again, they were terrific, tough for us. It's kind of how the night's been. But tough for us, disappointing, but we'll use it. We'll learn from it. We'll get better, and looking to learn from it. So, questions?
Greg, you scored 11 points within the first 5 minutes, and then just 1 point for the rest of the game. What changed, in that moment?
I'll probably say West Virginia did a good job of locating me, transition in our half-court sets. Wasn't too many times I was left as open as I was to start the game. So I guess that's what it is.
When Nelly and Jamarius both get in foul trouble, they're both your facilitators. What were you guys talking about trying to do to kind of keep the offense flowing?
Run whatever coach called and just stay together. Like he said, we had to try and remain poised, and that was something that we preached going into this game. So no matter who was out there at the point guard position, we just had to be poised and run whatever was called.
Grant, was that just a cramp when you went down? I saw you on the sideline just for a little bit, jumping around. Just a cramp?
Yeah, I just caught cramps.
Rick, what was the challenge defensively tonight? It seemed like West Virginia was able to get out and transition pretty easily.
That came from, I would say, our bad shots and turnovers. Like, that's one thing that we talked about that would help them get in transition faster. So I would say them two things, like when they sped us up, we kept going fast so they'd get a turnover, getting the play in transition. And all our shots, I felt like, was all long misses, and they was all, every time they got it, it was a transition opportunity, and they used it to their advantage.
Greg, it seemed like there was some miscommunications on defense, or at least misunderstanding when to go out, especially when you guys switched in the zone. What were some of the things that you noticed that you guys were like, hey, we got to stop this now in the moment?
We wasn't talking. We didn't talk for 40 minutes, honestly. That was the one thing that our team had done a great job of, talking offensively and defensively, and today we did not do that at all. You see the result.
You've been through big wins, big losses at the Division I level, Marquette. Now here, what are you going to try to learn from this? What are you going to try to teach your other teammates after this game?
That we can't come into no game if we're not together thinking we're going to win. It starts with us being together. You're not right within, then you won't be right at all. So that's what I say. If we started off being right together and we all together, nobody will beat us. We good.
Why do you think there was no talk going on? I know coaches preached that for 5 seasons.
Honestly, I'm going to say we got into ourselves. Once the game got, a little tougher, we hit adversity. It was our first time hitting adversity as a team, and I feel like we just tried to, it's a new team, so everybody felt like they can do it on their own. And you had, multiple plays where you could tell, we look like we tried to do it on our own. And West Virginia plays team defense. It might look like one person's pressing you, but their whole team is in on you, so I feel like that's what it was.
What did Nate give you tonight? This was one of the better games of his career so far.
He gave us a huge spark, especially it was a time we really needed it. He came in off the bench ready to play, and that was huge for us because he gave us a spark off the bench that we really needed tonight.
I know the result wasn't what you wanted, but what did you make of the atmosphere, especially to begin this game?
Oh, the atmosphere was crazy. It was a great crowd to play in front of. I just wish, it was off or not. That result was not representative of our team, and I don't want it to, the Oakland Zoo to feel like they didn't show up and do their thing tonight because they definitely did, and we're going to make up for that.
Greg, this is something Jeff had talked about before, just as far as responding when you guys miss shots and aren't able to, generate offense naturally. How do you guys have to talk to fight through to make sure that those type of moments that led to some of their runs don't happen moving forward?
It's going to start with film. honestly. It's no better. Like once you see it on film, then you'll really understand it. I feel like, you can say something to learn a lesson, but it's gonna be a hard lesson that we can ready to learn when we watch film. So I feel like once we see our mistakes, you won't have no choice but to learn from them. So.
Coach Jeff, it's not a perfect stack, but plus minus, if you look at it, Nelly Cummings played 23 minutes and he was 0, and you lost the game, basically the other 18 minutes you're minus 25 without him. I think does that speak obviously volumes about how important he is to you guys and what you're doing?
Yeah.
Especially early in the season like this.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's really important for us. Like I said, we had lineups out there that we've not practiced with, guys in different positions, especially in the first half with the foul trouble that we had. And so it did hurt us not having Nelly out there.
Greg, Jeff, what changed defensively when Fede and Blake got into foul trouble and had to sit for a while?
Yeah, it wasn't just Fede and Blake. It was just us together. Like we weren't connected defensively like we have been, and we weren't talking. They just saw open lanes to get to the basket. They drove us. Our individual one-on-one defense was not what it needs to be. And so again, we'll learn from it. We'll get better, and we'll be better next time we play.
Is this game a real example of why you really need the big guy inside?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, we need John, but this game is not just the example of that. John's, I think one of the better players in our league, and so we definitely do need him. But again, that had nothing to do with tonight's outcome.
The fouls, that obviously changed the way you have to coach and also play defense. Is that?
Yeah, it changed everything. I mean, we tried to go to a zone. We haven't worked on zone as much. Just trying to get our man-to-man right and better. But again, we were in so much foul trouble, and with the way the game was being called, I didn't want to put guys in. We ran the risk. Now,
What can you say about the depth that WVU was throwing at you?
yeah, I mean, they have a lot of good players. I mean, they do. They have good players, guys that are older. They went to the transfer portal as well and got some guys. Toussaint had an outstanding game. I thought, I think Trey Mitchell's their most talented player. Those two guys, the kid Wagyu, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I mean, he was terrific. I mean, and so, look, they have good players. They played really well.
Jeff, what did you make of the atmosphere at the beginning of the game, and is that something, we haven't seen here in a while. Can you build on that?
Yeah, hopefully. First of all, the atmosphere was outstanding, and especially our student section. They have been outstanding so far. With we've tried to do things with them, and how they were the first game, how they were tonight. They were here early. They were in the lobby. They were standing in the rain. All of those things. So we're incredibly grateful for it. Just disappointed that our performance wasn't worthy of the energy that they gave. They kept it going throughout. They were cheering us on, so grateful for that, and hopefully that's something that continues.
Jeff, what's your sense of Ugley's participation next week?
Yeah, well, hopefully he can start doing some contact stuff in practice starting next week, and if he does that, if he's able to do that and has a couple of good days, there's a possibility that he could be available for Wednesday.
Jeff, what was your team's mood like in the locker room after the game?
Not good. I mean, we just got our butts kicked, so I wouldn't expect it to be a great mood in there. But it's early. We'll learn from it. We'll get better. We'll use this as a teaching lesson. I'm glad it happened early, certainly not this game and against this opponent, but it gives us something to learn. We haven't been through adversity. Everything has been terrific for us so far. Now we got smacked in the face. Let's see how we respond. And I feel good about the character of our team that will respond.
We saw some visible frustrations from some of your guys, just some of the calls and how things are playing out. How do you settle your team down when those frustration starts leaking into play?
Yeah, we have to have poise in the midst of chaos. And we knew that coming in. We just didn't do it. It's easy to say, but when you're out there and they're pressuring you and they're banging you and all these different things like that, it's easy to say that, to have poise, but you have to be able to do it. That's where, maturity not having some guys on the court, having some different lineups. It changes some of the things that, we tried to work on offensively. And again, give credit to them because they put us in those situations. If we don't turn the ball over as much, then maybe they don't shoot 65% in the first half. A lot of those were just in transition, and the way they cut, all of those things. I mean, they put us in positions, the way they pressure, you get frustrated, so now all of a sudden you push off. We have to be able to be poised in those situations. And so this is a learning lesson. We'll play some teams this year that will pressure like that. And when we do, we'll be better. We'll use this to get better.
Obviously, next year you guys go to West Virginia, and that's the last game of the series. I mean, you've kind of been involved in it now for a few years. Just kind of wondering what your thoughts are on the series, and would you like to see it continue?
Yeah, the series is awesome. We need to do our part to make it more of a rivalry, but it's awesome. I hope it's something that continues. Should continue.
What was kind of the mood maybe at halftime, and was it just foul trouble, or what kind of led to the game kind of unraveling? Because West Virginia was shooting the lights out, but you were still much more in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was the turnovers, it was the odd lineups that we had. It was not being able to be poised. So the mood at the halftime was, hey, let's be poised. We'll have our group in there, and we got to defend. We have to do that. I mean, they shot 65% in the half, so we have to be better on that end. Let's be more connected. It was more upbeat and trying to, get us to realize, like, hey, we're still right there. If we can correct these two things, our defense and then not turning the ball over, being strong and being connected, that it will be better. It just didn't happen for us.
Blake and Nate were both forced into guarding bigger players, bigger forwards. How do you feel that those two specifically did, on the defensive side tonight?
No one did well for us defensively tonight. Nobody. You look at what they shot, 52%, 53% from the field, 38 from three. That's not good defense. So it's not just Blake or Nate. We didn't play good defense tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.